What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my horror corner. I'm Fred, the found footage fiend. Hope you're all having a great day, great week. And do you ever wonder if monsters were real? Where do they come from, and where do they live? Well, that's what we're gonna ask today. Today we are looking at Adam Green's 2014 Digging Up the Marrow, and this is kind of a weird movie. He himself doesn't know how to label it. I'm gonna just go ahead and lump it in a found footage / mockumentary subgenre. But if you watch any of his interviews talking about this movie, he will state he's not entirely sure because it doesn't necessarily follow a lot of found footage tropes, or it's not necessarily a mockumentary. Either it kind of is, but it's kind of not, because a lot of the people play themselves in real life, who they are. There's musicians, there's different actors, different artists, and they just play themselves. So it's just a weird, I don't know, but I'm gonna say fuck it. I'm gonna lump it into the found footage mockumentaries subgenre, and this is absolutely my favorite of all of them. A lot of people say, of course, Blair Witch, and I'm not dissing on that at all. But this, for personal reasons alone, this is just my absolute favorite, because I saw this movie about 5-6 years ago, and this was the movie that really introduced me to like everything about horror and its communities, its conventions, because I grew up not necessarily liking horror. I was fucking one of the kids that was always scared, I remember watching Leprechaun 2 when I was young and being freaked out in this one scene. But oh man, thank you for making this movie, because for me it's like a love letter, Adam Green, to just horror fans in general. And like I said, I'm saying thank you on a personal level, because for me back then I knew horror movies. My girlfriend was the one to kind of get me into them, but this was the movie that sprouted everything to what I love today. So I'm gonna try to be as unbiased as possible, because I personally just love this fucking movie. This movie was distributed by RLJ Entertainment. I don't know too much about them. I didn't really look it up, but this is also put out by Aeriescope Productions. This is Adam Green's company. If you don't know it, they've done pictures like the Hatchet series, Frozen. They do stuff like Holliston. He's worked on other movies like Spiral and Grace. Now, really quick, he got 2 inspirations for this movie. The first inspiration came from a fan had sent him some type of pamphlet with some type of, not pamphlet, but like a letter saying that Victor Crowley was real, and that Adam Green, you got it all wrong, and that there was maps circling where Victor Crowley lived and he grew up, stuff like that. And Adam Green was tempted to go out and seek this fan out, but he kind of came to a realization that might not be a good idea, which I fucking agree, dude. I don't know about that one. But then he was at a convention, and this artist by the name of Alex Pardee, I'll list their website, stuff like that. He's a great artist. You should follow him on Instagram, Twitter, and check all his work out, because his drawings was a big, huge inspiration for the movie. He was at a convention with Adam Green, and he was at the convention. He walked up to Adam Green and gave him his pamphlet that was labeled Digging Up the Marrow, and said, "Thank you for the inspiration, dude," and walked away. And in this pamphlet, Adam Green said that there was all these monster designs, all these creature designs. I'll put up the pictures, and in it was a story about this former detective who commissioned an artist to draw out these pictures of these monsters that he claims were real. So Adam Green kind of took this first concept with the Victor Crowley story and mixed this one together, and brings you Digging Up the Marrow. And the story follows the former detective William Decker, who contacts Adam Green and is claiming that monsters are real. He's straight up saying, "I found where they live. I've seen them myself. I have sketches. I'm trying to just put this out there." So I'm not entirely sure what his reasons are, because he doesn't want nobody to know. So now that I think about it, But anyways, we follow Adam Green as he journeys with William Decker, followed along with his friend and director of photography, Will Barrett. They go around Chatsworth, California, and just like little, I think it seems like a cemetery. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But there's like this little opening on the ground, and it's apparently the entrance to what he called the Marrow. Now, I don't want to spoil anything. I'm going to say that in the tags. This is one of those movies that urge you to go see. It's streaming free on Tubi, but it's also streaming on Shudder, and you can buy it directly from AriescopePictures.com. Now, one thing that when I saw this movie that comes to mind, if you've seen the movie Nightbreed, for some reason it just feels just like that. Nightbreed's about this movie of this guy who he ends up finding this underground city of monsters in a cemetery, almost similar to this. But I've even asked Adam Green in a live chat one time about it, and he told me the story about a fan asked him at a showing, and it just kind of flew over his head when he made it. Like it wasn't until afterwards that he was like, "Oh shit, you're right. I legit didn't even think about that." But that's what movie comes to mind. It's almost like updated Nightbreed found footage movie. I hope I don't get hate for saying that. I might. Shit. And we follow around this guy, and we're left wondering, like, is he telling the truth, or do these monsters exist? Because he's as the movie progresses, he's kind of losing grips on a lot of things. He's not making a lot of more sense. You find out he's kind of lying about a lot of stuff, and we're wondering who's crazier here, William Decker or Adam Green for following him around. Now we have a huge cast, I think, personally, in this movie. Besides the main cast, there's a lot of cameos. I guess I need to clarify that. First, we have, of course, Adam Green plays himself. We have Ray Wise. Now, I know Ray Wise from Jeepers Creepers 2 and Big Ass Spider, but I think I remember seeing him in RoboCop. He's in RoboCop, some of those movies. He's also in a show I've never seen and I've always heard about, and I hope I don't get shunned right here, but I've never seen Twin Peaks, and I've heard he's in that. We also have Adam Green's director of photography, Will Barrett. He works on a lot of Adam Green's movies, and he's done a lot of solo work on his own. We have a cameo of fucking Kane Hodder, dude. Like, if that alone doesn't get you to fucking watch the movie, I don't know what does. But just if you don't know who Kane Hodder is, he's fucking one of the people that played Jason the most amount of times. And he's done a lot of other movies. I remember him from Wishmaster. I fucking love him in that. And I love his little the meta self he plays in Jason Goes to Hell, when he plays a security guard and he kind of fucking talks shit to Jason. It's fucking awesome, dude. We also have Alex Pardee. He's in the movie. Like I said, he was a big inspiration. He's an artist. Another fucking two awesome cameos. I mean, there's other cameos in the beginning of the movie. We have Don Coscarelli. He's made like Phantasm, Beastmaster. John dies at the end. We have Lloyd Kaufman. He's all about Tromaville. I recently saw his movie Troma War. That was fucking awesome. We have Tom Holland and Mick Garris. And I love this part in the movie, but if you're not familiar with Tom Holland, he's made like Fright Night, Child's Play, the Stephen King adaptation of Thinner. And then we also have Mick Garris. He does like a pod. I don't know if Tom Holland does a podcast, but I know Mick Garris does. And he's done, Critters 2, Sleepwalkers, another Stephen King adaptation. And he's also worked on this recent anthology that came out called Nightmare Cinema, which is pretty good. I recommend it for sure. We have just so many cameos. I know Tony Todd comes out in the beginning. You see David Brockie, Odorous Ungerus from Guar, rest in peace, dude. We have there's just so many people, and I fucking love that about this movie. It's definitely one of my favorite things is the fucking cast. But yet Ray Wise is just the best part of the entire movie. 100%. Every scene that this dude is in steals the fucking show. There's so much intensity when he's talking, and then he's very subtle comedic. The same with Kane Hodder. Kane Hodder, I don't know. If you haven't seen him in Holliston, he's so fucking funny, dude. There's a part with Kane Hodder that I fucking love, and it's Adam Green is showing Kane Hodder some stuff they found. I'm trying not to spoil it, right? So Kane Hodder's just like, okay, well, he's not buying anything that they're filming, right? And Adam Gates trying so hard to explain to him, and he's just like, it's actual footage that we shot. It's not fake. And Kane Hodder's just like, oh, actual footage, found footage. Boy, that's never been done before. And just the way he just delivers that subtle little tiny line with just a little hint of like sarcasm, I fucking love it. You love to see it. So I'll go straight into my likes. One of my biggest likes about this fucking movie is it was, like I said earlier, it's just like it's almost like a love to horror fans itself. Not the horror genre, like not necessarily the horror genre, because You can't label this movie. It's so weird. But you know, there's a lot of shots with him at conventions. And that's what opened my world up for me. I never really looked up conventions and stuff like that. And seeing it in movies like this, I was just like, holy crap. This movie led me to watch Hatchet, which led me to watch a lot of his other work. But Holliston as well opened up my eyes with a lot of references they were making. I wasn't understanding them. So I was like, well, let me look up these movies they're talking about. And I just fucking, I love this fucking movie. And if you're just not a fan of Adam, then you're just probably gonna hate this. Like, who is this fucking director? I mean, when I first looked at this movie, I remember I was looking up a review years ago on IMDb. Damn, I can't fucking say that. IMDb. And it was like 40, 50s, in the 60s somewhere. It was somewhere around that area, you know, out of 100 like found footage movies just watch. And I remember this person just ripping on this director, and I was like, damn, what the fuck? The dude's hate made me want to watch the movie. And I loved it since. I am thankful for it. But that's just on a personal level. I do have some dislikes. But I just love that it doesn't take itself seriously. Another thing that I also like is that we can't label this movie. Like, the fact that Adam Green has went and said in some interviews, like, I'm not really sure because it's not found footage, but it's not mockumentary, but it is. So, I mean, he called it some type of weird word. I don't remember what it was. It was like some mixture of two words. And it was pretty funny, but I absolutely love that. It's just such a weird mixture of movies, a weird mixture of genres, but I still will consider it a found footage / mockumentary movie. Like, just, I guess, because the entire movie is shot in a handheld form. It's never you're holding the camera. It's never shot in a third person narrative. But I get what he's saying. Ray Wise, dude. And he's seen this guy is in. He's fucking, there's scenes where he's intense. Like, the first interview is pretty fucking intense. It happens about, the first 5 minutes is just like a lot of stuff about horror conventions and stuff like that. But then we jump straight into the mockumentary style of it. And it's like the first interview, and you're getting to know this guy, this former detective, William Decker. And he's telling you the story about the marrow, about these monsters. And his theory is about, where do these people, how about this? His theory is children that are born with like deformities and stuff like that, where do they go when they grow older? Because you never really hear about that. And he's claiming that they go underground into this fucking city, this like huge subterranean city beneath us. And they're like all tunnels connected throughout the country, and he calls it the marrow. And it's just so intense. Like when he's, I remember, especially the second. There's every interview that they do with this guy on screen steals the fucking show. There's a lot of subtle comedic moments. Not even subtle. There's a lot of comedic moments in the movie, and I fucking love that about Ray Wise. But also, another thing I really like is the chemistry between Adam Green and his friend and director of photography, Will Barrett, the guy behind the camera. If you haven't seen, if you are familiar with Adam Green's work, he will come in and out of some of the movies. I remember he's in, I think, Hatchet 3 for sure, and maybe another Hatchet, I know, and then he's in Holliston in one episode, or maybe two episodes, a few episodes, because he's always a director. But I want to give a shout out to him, because I think he did a phenomenal job every time. I think Adam Green flipped the camera on him a few times, and every time it was enjoyable to see him. But the chemistry between these two, you can just feel it. They've been friends for fucking ever. And that is like a true fact. They have been friends for so long. They went to college together and been friends nonstop, have been making movies together, I believe, just about every time, maybe every other time. But I love that, because there's times where you can tell that Adam Green is the one more passionate about this documentary of the monsters more than Will. There's a lot of arguing between them. Will not necessarily wants to quit, but he's trying to just make it safer, have more control. Adam Green is just trying to go full all in, and I fucking love that chemistry, because there's an argument that I really enjoy at the end, near the end, and Adam is arguing with Decker about something, and he turns to Will, because Will isn't saying anything. And every time that Adam and Decker have gone at it in the movie about some type of thing, Will doesn't say anything. He's just kind of the man behind the camera. But Adam turns to Will, and he's like, back me up for once. And I just love that. Like, you can feel it. Like, even the fact that he says for once, Like that just kind of shows you that Will has always been, at least portrayed in this movie, in that sense. Like he's always never had his back all the way. I had to like basically, for in my opinion, like this is my personal opinion, of course, I had to nitpick at what I didn't like, and there are just a few little things. This might be a potential spoiler, but there's one creature that they show coming out of the entrance of the marrow that I just felt was incredibly lacking in everything. It just looks like some guy fucking paint, like they just painted this guy, like it looks like they painted his face and he's wearing some type of black swimming tight suit, track suit type of thing, and he's just kind of crawling on all fours. And I just thought that was like every other monster is on point in this movie, but for some reason I don't know what happened there. It's just such an odd, like, what is that? That was just one of my least likable moments. Another thing I would say is actually the fact that we don't get to see more of the marrow. We get to see a little bit at the end, but it's still very dark. I would love that to see that world because it sounds so cool. It sounds fucking awesome. Like, and I'm gonna imagine. I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that this is supposed to have a sequel. So maybe that's why it ended like it did. If you've already seen it, then, and if you don't like it, if you've seen it, and because if it's the ending, maybe you didn't like, it's supposed to be a sequel. So I would just love to see more about that. The world itself sounds awesome. The way that Decker explained it and everything, the mythology behind, like he even says that in this world they're just like normal people. They have marriages down there. They have kids down there. It just sounds like, whoa, what the fuck? All right, let's check this out, dude. So maybe we'll get a sequel one day. Really quick, some of my favorite scenes. I'm gonna try to just give you my favorite scenes without spoiling any of what ends up happening. I'd rather just you see it yourself. It's at least for sure the ones with Kane Hodder. I said earlier, but I fucking love the way Kane is just so funny like that. Another scene is the part with the interview between Decker and Adam Green. And Decker is kind of explaining the different locations that he's came across with the marrows, because there's not just one location. Like I said, it's spread out throughout the country. There's several locations, but he goes and name drops the IHOP. And Adam Green's just like, IHOP? He's like, yeah. He's like, Adam, why the IHOP? And Decker's just like, they love pancakes. And when I first saw this, I thought about Dave Chappelle's sketch with Charlie Murphy telling the story of him meeting Prince, and then them being playing basketball, and then being offered pancakes and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, that was the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this. Another favorite scene of mine is the Tom Holland and Mick Garris scene. It's just cool seeing these like fucking old school directors on screen. I absolutely love that, playing themselves. And Mick Garris, he's awesome, dude. I fucking love. He seems like such a nice guy. I fucking love this dude. I highly suggest checking out his work as well as Tom Holland's work. Not Spider-Man. Just every scene with Ray Wise. Honestly, like he fucking steals the show. You see him slowly like a normal person at first, just with a kind of crazy conspiracy theory, and as the movie progresses, he just starts losing like his fucking grip. And he just gives a great fucking performance in this movie. Honestly, I think Adam just let him go all out on it, and Ray Wise fucking stole this entire movie. So, just some final thoughts. Honestly, for me personally, this is a very fun and entertaining movie. It was very engaging throughout the entire time. The concept, like I said, it doesn't feel it with Nightbreed already existing. It didn't feel original necessarily, but it was in its own sense was original, because Adam Green took these two ideas that he got from other people and made this fucking awesome type of movie. It's a great form of storytelling, regardless of what you want to call it or label it. It's a fucking awesome movie all around, with a fucking absolutely enjoyable cast for me. Surprisingly, it shot very well. If you're one of those people that just hate found footage for shaky cam, I completely understand. Some people say it's very nauseating. There's a lot of horrible movies out there that just absolutely abuse that type of handheld recording, and I agree with that. But this movie has like maybe one scene where it's just kind of shaky, and everything else is shot very well done due to fucking his DP, Will Barrett. Like seriously, this movie for me was shot like I had no issues with it. It flowed very well. It was edited very well. There was nothing where I was complaining like, well, that didn't make sense. It was just a smooth from beginning to end. There's even music in there by this composer, Bear McCreary. I'm sorry if I said that wrong, but I absolutely just love the little songs that were in there, as well as the moments when he was being interviewed, or they were interviewing William Deckard, Ray Weiss' character. The music would like change from like this like type of upbeat music to the serious music, and I fucking love that about it. The cinematography, like I said, it was shot very well done. Overall, I have very little complaints with it. It's a very divided movie. I've come across a lot of people that don't like it, and I can completely see those reasons. 100%. I'm not gonna sit here and argue with you at all. I can say, yeah, I get that for sure. But for me, on a personal level, I absolutely love it. If I would have to give it a rating, I would give this a 4 out of 5. So with that being said, happy spookies.